looking like a baby in the car. I put the water in the ocean in the city that I'm from.
What's goody, guys? Welcome back to Wine Down with Books with your girl Kay. So as you can see by the title, we are going to be reviewing This Could Be Us. This book released earlier in March. I believe it was the 5th. It is the second book, in my opinion, in the series with Soledad, Yasmin, and Hendrix. They're all best friends. And I really enjoyed this read. It's been 2 weeks since my last review on YouTube. I have been reading. I've been getting these reads in, so that's why I haven't posted as often, and I wanted to make sure that I start reading you guys' book recommendations. So after this book review, we're starting your recommendations as I promised. So the first one we're going to start with is Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari Lapena. I_M_Miss J suggested this book. So of course you guys gonna hear my thoughts on it next book review. But we getting into it, we rolling out. I promise you guys that I'll start doing your recommendations again, and I'm on it. The only thing I have to say is that I could not find the book Behind Those Eyes by T.P. Carter and Memes23 suggested that. I'm gonna keep looking. And for some reason, I think I just gonna have to buy this book, Lord of the Flies. So King Cap, I know you've been waiting. I'm just gonna buy the book. I wanted to just get it from the library, but I'm just gonna buy it so I can do yours. And then we have Delicious Monsters. I heard mixed reviews about that one. And then we have Living with Kyla. You suggested a couple books by Ashley Antoinette. And then so I have them on my Kindle app, so I'll start reading them. All right, anyways, let's jump into the review. So if you're a fan of Kennedy Ryan, I am not going to spoil this book for you. I think that I'll be doing you guys a disservice if I spoil the book. It's such a beautiful read that I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on it. Again, the first book before this one is Before I Let Go, and that's Yasmin book. The next one, this one is Soledad's book, and then Hendrix. I'm super excited for Hendrix's book. Hendrix by far is my favorite out of the group. I like Hendrix's character because she's unapologetically herself. She knows that she does not want kids. She knows what's for her. She goes after what she wants. She is the rich auntie, and that is what I aspire to be. So I really love Hendrix. Hendrix is super funny. She's outgoing. She's a ride or die. She's gonna hold it down, and I just love her character. I like Yasmin's character. I like Soledad's character. So far out of Yasmin and Soledad, each of them had their own individual problems going on. But with Soledad, I really enjoyed this read because Kennedy Ryan really focused on Soledad's healing journey to getting back to herself. And it was a process for Soledad. She went through so much in the beginning of the book. I'm just going to say this. Edward, her husband, is trash. He had the audacity in this book. Like, I've met characters with the audacity, but this man takes the cake. And if you follow me on TikTok, you know I do this audacity series, and I gave him the 2024 runner-up because this man had the audacity. I'm just gonna put this comment in here from the book. He tells Soledad that her coochie is loose, and Soledad done had 3 kids for him. And that's the reason why he doesn't want to have sex with her, because her coochie is loose. That ticked me off. Like, the audacity just with that comment. The girl had 3 babies for you. You gonna say that? Okay. But anyways, so a lot of the book was focused on Soledad's journey from, finding herself outside of the titles of being a mom, being a wife, being a friend. Like, she had to come to the realization of self-preservation for herself. And just finding it. And I think that, it was a journey for her because she was so much putting people before herself that she lost herself in her kids. She lost herself in her marriage, and she honestly just forgot who the hell she was. And I think oftentimes, as I read a lot of books, that happens to women. Like, us as women, we give so much of ourselves to everyone around us, especially within our family, that we incorporate our identity with the things that we do. So if you're not a mom, right, then what are you, right? You're a daddy. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. Okay, you are more than that outside of those titles, And I do think a lot of women tend to lose themselves within those titles, because they're giving so much of themselves to everyone and not to them. So with Soledad, she had to figure that out, right? She had to figure out who she was in the past, who she wants to be, and who she's going to be in the future. Because as you know, Soledad is a phenomenal cook, right? She's innovative. She's creative. She has a lot of ideas, but she just I don't want to say resigned herself, but she took on the role of being a stay-at-home mom to raise her children while Edward went and made the money. And if I remember correctly, they agreed upon that. So now when it's time, you know, things hit the fan, he's throwing that back in her face. And it's crazy to me. And she had a lot of ideas, and it's just like she had to basically submit and resign herself to one role because her man, you know, and it was her making her man feel like he's the breadwinner. It's her making her man feel like he's just strong and mighty provider. And it's like, bro, Edward would have been nothing without Soledad. And that's where things went wrong. But also, I'm just gonna say this out there. Soledad was in an interracial relationship with a white man, and I'm just gonna say that. Just gonna say that. And you know, it was just given like what you think it is. Like you got this beautiful black Hispanic queen, and you think that you made her? Are you crazy? And it just be pissing me off, because a lot of you have interracial relationships that, you know, you have a white man, a white woman, black, whatever interracial race you are, and you have those partners who will uplift you regardless of, you know, knowing that you guys are in an interracial relationship. But when you feel like you're in an interracial relationship, and that let's say Soledad's character, Edward's character, he's a white man, he feel like he got some power over her, that's what pisses me off. Because don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's giving master slave to me. So that's what really was making me mad. On top of everything else that he did to Soledad, it's just like, you doing all this to Soledad and you a white man. So now I'm really mad. But anyways, you know, Soledad was trying to overcome those things, and she was trying to process her emotions. At the same time, while she's processing her emotions, she meets a man named Judah. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything. And Judah is the epitome of a man that a woman should want. You know, he had so much patience. He was so in tune. He just wanted to support her while uplifting her, but while allowing to find herself. And he established those boundaries, right? And I think Kennedy Ryan did such a good job with writing Soledad, and his name is Judah's character, and then like the passion, the frustration, the turmoil between them, the friction, like it was so beautiful. Like, I want a man like Judah. Like, I would love a man like Judah. And Judah's character is beautiful because I'll spoil this. Like, Kennedy talks about it on her book tours. I went to the one in New York. Judah has two twins who have autism, and Kennedy did a phenomenal job of, you know, it depicting and presenting like a picture of a family who has children with autism, and how, you know, it can be seen as a struggle, and like the barriers of a child having autism, and how, you know, the parents' schedules have to work around the children, and how much work goes into you know, caring and supporting a child who has autism. And she talked on the book tour, she talked about a lot of, you know, she had individuals who diagnosed with autism do a sensitivity read, you know, just to make sure that she's captured everything correctly, that it wouldn't trigger anyone who's reading her book. Like, she took care in doing her research. She took care in her writing. And she also talks about how she has a child with autism too, so she has personal experience with a child who's diagnosed with autism, right? And it was so beautiful to see how Judah cared for his children, you know. And she also underlined that on the when someone's diagnosed with autism, it is a spectrum, you know. Everyone who has a diagnosis with autism is not dealing with the same thing. You have high functional autism, where someone who has autism but they can, you know, do things independent, and then you have someone who can't do too much independent and require more attention. So she did a good job of depicting the two of the spectrum. So it was really beautiful to read, to see the picture, and I think she did a phenomenal job. I think that this book, I'm not a big fan of romance books, but I like the romance in this book because it's given realistic, but it's given, I like the boundaries part, you know. Soledad wants to find love, but she wants to find herself more, and to be able to put yourself over your wants and your desires is a struggle. It's hard. And for her to be able to recognize that and to do that and to stand firm in that, it was beautiful. But she also had to realize, like, okay, I can still be on my healing journey, but I don't have to limit myself in certain situations, you know. And then she's trying to navigate the situation with Edward and her children, you know. And she had one child who just would not give her a break and constantly kept poking and provoking her. And it was just like, you know, she's frustrated, she's trying to have patience with her child, but her child is trying her. But I honestly feel like it was a normal depiction of a mother and a child with the friction, because especially if a child holds one parent to like such a high standard, and then now, you know, the other parent has to now essentially break that image of the parent that the child holds on a high pedestal. And it is not hard. It's hard. It's not easy to deal with, but Soledad did a great job. But I definitely felt like Soledad needed to put her child in her place a little bit sooner. But yeah, it was such a beautiful read. I love how Soledad came back to herself. And it's a never-ending journey. And also, I just want to put this out there, and I speak to myself as I say this. You know, us as women, men, we go through heartache, we go through breakups, we go through situations, and healing is a never-ending journey. You'll probably never ever fully heal from a situation. Sometimes you do, but people expect that you go through a situation, you heal within a couple months. No, you heal, you try to take whatever you can from that situation and apply it moving forward. But one thing I always say, like, don't be afraid to put yourself first. Regardless if you're a mother, you're a boss, you're a wife, you're a girlfriend, whatever it may be, don't lose yourself and depend on someone else to make you happy. Because you're gonna be you're doing detrimental stuff to yourself, you know. And definitely remember to love yourself. And shoot, remember who you are. You remember who you are. You're strong. If you have support, you know, you got a support system. But just remember that the what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like I'm gonna say, like, you have the skill set to get back to who you feel like you were if you ever felt like you lost yourself in a situation. And I do say, like, if I'm talking to my clients, that you technically haven't lost yourself, but you've put yourself on the back burner, and you just have to navigate your way back to that person. And it may not be who you were in the past. You may come out stronger, but you have the skill set, the tools to do so. So that's just remembering that, right? But anyways, the writing style of the book was phenomenal, easy flow. I finished this book in a day and a half. Is like, you're not gonna want to put it down. That's just in my opinion. Yes, I just love the book. I said I'm not gonna do any spoilers. But ultimately, I will say this book also has a lot of current social media factors, right? And I think Kennedy does a good job of depicting that in the book as well, how social media really can help someone get back on their feet, to make a living, to just help other people who have been through certain situations. She did a phenomenal job depicting that too. But also, I really just enjoy Soledad. And this wasn't a book about just Soledad finding herself. It was a romance, for Soledad finding herself, or a romance Soledad finding a partner. It was love within her children, love with a new partner, love with her friends, within her friends, love within her families, her sisters. So it was just, love growing with the romance in every aspect of Soledad's life. And it wasn't just narrowed down to one standpoint, which is just a male figure and a woman getting together and they find each other. No, like, that's what I like. Like, you saw the love within Soledad's sisters, within her friends, within her children, and I really, really enjoyed that. It's just so much to this book that you could take away. And yeah, I think one quote was like, "I'm a hornet," something like, "I'm a hornet and I have a sting," something like that. I can't remember it, but like, Kennedy has like a lot of metaphors that you could take away. Like, this book is a beautiful coming to find yourself, remember who you are, stand up, and let's get going, girl. Wipe them tears and we gonna figure this out. So yeah, and then the book is funny. Like, the book is real. It had a little couple of jokes, but yeah. So I enjoyed this read. If you read Kennedy's Rhyme, This Could Be Us, drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know, out of the 3 friends, who you like. Yasmin, Soledad, Hendrix. Again, I like all 3 of them, but Hendrix by far is my favorite. She's super, super funny. But anyways, again, I wasn't going to spoil this review. You guys know what the next book review is, and I will see you next time. I'm out.